back escape lessons. The first segment, we're just gonna go over how you get your back taken as a beginner most of the time, all right? It comes to scenarios where we actually expose the back ourselves. Probably the most common one is like from bridging scenarios where we kind of like get a little bit frustrated not being able to get out of mount. Maybe Tamara has like good pressure on us and we just feel the need to try to bridge. And a really common one is we bridge and we start turning. And pretty much Tamara doesn't have to do much. She just has to let me turn and then she'll be able to catch onto our back and then eventually roll us over and that kind of stuff, all right? So be super careful doing those bridges for mount. We often use the bridge just as a supplement, okay? Usually we do need some sort of grip to do a bridge and an isolation of an arm so we can successfully tip the person over, right? But again, don't be like a super explosive about it where I turn and expose my back and everything. But your partner also has little tricks like arm isolations, okay? That's another really common way where Tamara like wrist pins us and then we kind of like fall for the trap of reaching around, and anytime this arm is around, that's a back exposure straight away, okay? Regardless of the position. It could be side control as well, where you're in side control, boom, and I turn this way. Now my back's exposed again, the hooks are gonna come in. And the other really common way is often we try to turtle and we don't really protect the hooks. Side control is another example of this, where maybe Tamara hasn't gone for the back take quite yet and I want to turtle to avoid the points, but I don't do a good job blocking the hooks from coming in, right? So often I'll turn and then she steps over on that side, or maybe I do a good job blocking this side, but she sneaks in the bottom hook instead, right? So again, just getting cautious about hook is a big thing to understand the back escapes. But that's generally how you get your back taken most of the time, right? Now, if Tamara goes onto my back now, the second little concept we're going to mention is just understanding the two sides that we have when dealing with back escapes. We have the choking side, which generally speaking people call the overhook side. Her arm is over my shoulder, hence the name. And we have the underhook, which is this one over here, right? She can attack from both sides, doesn't necessarily mean she can't do one on the other. But understanding which side you're on will dictate which counter we're gonna do later on. So please pay attention, okay, when people do take your back. Sometimes you have the luxury of choosing what side you take the person. I'd always recommend the weak side if we can, because that will kind of give us the easier counter, which we'll see later on in details, which is head to the floor. But if someone's quite good at positioning themselves, they know how to kind of use their legs and head position to stop that from happening, okay? If she's more choke orientated, she'll probably force you to the strong side, right? Because that gives her more kind of options on like chokes and a stronger, tighter grip. So again, sometimes we'll have the choice of which side we go to, and sometimes we won't. And grip fighting, okay? Getting used to grip fighting is the last little segment on this one. We always want to control the top arm, the overhook side, because that's the one that's gonna be choking me, okay? So she's gonna shoot that arm through or grab the collar. So we wanna be able to just maintain control with a 2-on-1 grip. One on the wrist, another one on the forearm. Sometimes we go double grips. Any of those are fine, all right? And keep your elbows quite close to your body, your chin tucked, and you should be able to start going into those sides with a good positioning so you can go for your escapes afterwards, all right? And the escapes will come in the second segment, but this is just a brief introduction to understanding the concepts that will get you to escape the back a little bit easier, all right?